I stood in the kitchen, coffee mug warm between my palms, watching them through the doorway. 3 painters, all muscle and easy confidence, moving through my apartment like they owned the space. They'd been here 2 days already, and I'd spent most of that time pretending I wasn't watching, but today felt different. Today, something electric hummed beneath my skin. The tallest one, dark hair tied back, rolled paint onto the wall with slow, deliberate strokes. His forearm flexed with each movement a bead of sweat trailing down his neck. I shifted against the counter, heat pooling low in my stomach. Another painter crouched by the baseboards, precision in every careful line. The third mixed colors, strong hands working the paint until it reached the perfect shade. Need anything? I called out, my voice carrying just enough suggestion to make them all turn. 3 sets of eyes found mine, and I didn't look away. Before we jump in, take a quick second to like this video and hit subscribe. It only takes a moment, but it means everything to the channel. Plus, you'll never miss what comes next. Now let's get started. The tall one straightened, wiping his hands on already stained jeans. "We're good," he said. But his gaze lingered, traveling slowly from my bare feet to the silk robe barely tied at my waist. I'd chosen it deliberately, cream-colored, thin enough to hint at everything underneath. "You sure?" I stepped into the room, letting the morning light catch the fabric. It's hot work. I could bring water or something stronger. The one by the baseboards stood, paint smudged across his cheek. Younger than the others, maybe mid-20s, with eyes that couldn't hide their interest. "Water would be nice," he managed. I smiled, moving past them slowly, close enough that they'd catch my perfume. "I'll be right back." In the kitchen, I took my time. Let them wonder. Let the tension build. When I returned with glasses on a tray, they'd moved closer together, speaking in low voices that stopped when I appeared. "Here," I said, bending just enough as I set the tray down. The robe shifted, revealing the curve of my hip. I heard someone's breath catch. "Thanks," the tall one said, voice rougher now. Our fingers brushed as he took a glass, and neither of us pulled away immediately. "You know," I said, trailing my fingers along a paint can's rim, "I used to paint not walls, bodies, performance art in college." The lie came easily, but their reaction was real. 3 pairs of eyes sharpened with interest. "Bodies?" The quiet one who'd been mixing paint finally spoke. His accent held a trace of something European. I dipped my finger in an open can of deep sea blue, bringing it to my collarbone. "Like this." The paint was cool against my skin as I drew a slow line down toward my chest. "Of course it works better with more canvas." The room went still. They watched the paint trail disappear beneath my robe's edge, and I felt power surge through me. This was the moment. I could step back, laugh it off, return to watching from the kitchen. Or, "That's latex paint," the tall one said, voice carefully neutral. "It's safe on skin." I met his gaze. "I know," the youngest one swallowed hard. "Do you want us to show you? How we work, I mean?" I untied my robe, slowly letting it fall open but not off. "I thought you'd never ask." They moved like a team, just as they had with the walls. The tall one, Marcus, I learned, guided me to the drop cloth in the room's center. The youngest, Dylan, brought fresh brushes, and Enzo, the quiet one, with the accent-selected colors with an artist's eye. "Trust us?" Marcus asked, kneeling beside me. I let the robe slip from my shoulders completely. The first touch of the brush made me gasp, cool paint and soft bristles against my stomach. Dylan worked with surprising confidence, painting delicate swirls up my ribs. Enzo traced patterns on my thigh, each stroke deliberate and teasing. But it was Marcus who made me tremble, his free hand steadying my hip, while his brush explored the curve of my waist. "Beautiful," Enzo murmured, and I wasn't sure if he meant his work or me. The paint warmed against my skin, but it was their touch that set me burning. Hands guiding me to turn, to stretch, to display their canvas. Brushes gave way to fingers painting, giving way to caressing. When Marcus's thumb brushed paint across my lower lip, I caught it between my teeth. Careful. He warned, but his eyes said please continue. Dylan was the first to break. His brush clattered to the floor as he leaned in, pressing his mouth to a paint-free spot on my neck. I arched into him, my painted hand finding his hair leaving blue streaks. Is this what you wanted? Enzo asked, his accent thicker now. His fingers traced the edge of where paint met bare skin, never quite crossing the line. Part of it, I admitted, then pulled him down for a kiss that tasted like turpentine and desire. They surrounded me, then all pretense abandoned, 3 sets of hands exploring, painting me with touch instead of brushes. I was their masterpiece, their canvas, and they were determined to cover every inch. Marcus lifted me easily, my legs wrapping around his waist as he pressed me against the freshly painted wall. Cool paint met my back, and I laughed at the thought of the print I'd leave Dylan's mouth found my breast, while Enzo's hands painted patterns on my thighs with nothing but touch. More, I gasped, not sure which of them I was talking to. All of you. They didn't need further invitation. Clothes disappeared, tossed aside with the same casual efficiency they'd shown with their tools. I reached for them, paint-stained hands, leaving marks on their skin, blue handprints on Marcus's chest, green streaks down Dylan's abs, purple smudges on Enzo's shoulders. On the drop cloth they arranged me like art. Dylan beneath me, his hands gripping my hips as I settled over him. The sweet friction made us both groan, but it was Marcus moving behind me that made me gasp. His hands, still wet with paint, traced my spine as he positioned himself. Too much? He asked, his breath hot against my ear. Perfect. I managed, already lost in the sensation of being completely filled. They moved together, finding a rhythm that had me clutching at the drop cloth. Enzo knelt beside us, his hands painting lazy patterns on my skin, while his mouth explored every unpainted inch he could reach. When he guided my face toward him, I didn't hesitate. The position should have been awkward, but they made it feel choreographed. Dylan's upward thrusts, Marcus's steady pressure from behind, Enzo's gentle guidance. It was like they'd done this dance before, paint smeared between our bodies, creating abstract art on skin. Look at you. Dylan panted, his hands tightening on my waist. Our perfect canvas. I couldn't respond, too lost in sensation. Every nerve was firing, every touch electric. When Enzo's free hand found that sensitive spot between my legs, adding another layer to the building pressure, I cried out around him. That's it. Marcus encouraged, his rhythm increasing. Let us see you come undone. And I did. The orgasm hit like a wave of color, brilliant and overwhelming. I shook between them, my cries muffled but desperate. They followed quickly. Dylan first, his hips jerking upward, then Marcus with a groan that vibrated through me, and finally Enzo, his hand gentle in my hair. We collapsed together, a tangle of limbs and paint and satisfied exhaustion. The drop cloth beneath us looked like abstract art, our bodies still decorated with handprints and smears of color. So, Dylan said eventually, his voice lazy with satisfaction, same time tomorrow? I laughed, tracing a blue spiral on his chest. We still have 2 more rooms to paint. Marcus pressed a kiss to my shoulder, leaving a green lip print. Might take us a while to finish the job. I'm counting on it, I said, already imagining tomorrow's colors. They cleaned up professionally, but the glances they shot me promised this was far from over. As they packed their supplies, Enzo pulled me aside. You? No, he said, his accent making the words somehow more intimate. I have a studio. Proper body paints better lighting. I kissed him, tasting possibility on his lips. Friday night? His smile was answer enough. After they left, I stood in my paint-splattered living room, my body still tingling with ghost touches. The walls they'd painted looked perfect, professional clean lines, even coverage. But it was the mess we'd made that felt like real art. I showered, eventually watching colors swirl down the drain, but some marks remained. A blue handprint on my hip, green streaks on my thigh, purple bruises on my neck that had nothing to do with paint. That night, I dreamed in color, brush strokes and skin laughter and gasps, the slide of paint between bodies. When I woke, my phone showed 3 new messages. Marcus. Found paint in interesting places this morning. Dylan. Can't look at a paint can the same way now. Enzo. Still serious about Friday? I have ideas. I smiled, typing quick responses to each. Yes, I was serious. Yes, I wanted to see what other art we could create. Yes, I was already imagining the possibilities. The apartment still smelled like fresh paint, but underneath was something else. Sex and sweat and satisfaction. I made coffee standing in the kitchen where it all started and laughed at the handprint on the wall that we'd missed. Let them come back tomorrow. Let them paint every room, every wall, every surface. But most of all, let them paint me again. A living canvas, a work in progress, a masterpiece made better with every stroke. Some experiences leave you forever changed, marked in ways that go deeper than skin. That afternoon with my painters was one of them. They'd come to color my walls, but they'd colored my world instead, and I couldn't wait to see what shades tomorrow would bring. Sometimes the best art happens by accident when you let go of control and become part of the creation. Have you ever found yourself in a situation that started innocently but turned into something unforgettable? What made you take that leap? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your stories. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know the moment the next story drops. If you enjoyed this, share it with someone who appreciates a good plot twist. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.